Delta Force is the first game in the Delta Force series released in 1998. Here in the interface, you can click on an existing name, select Change Name, and enter your desired name. Alternatively, you can click on New Operative to create a fresh profile. Once you've entered a name, you can cycle through different soldier face and choose the one you like best. I'll stick with the default selection since it doesn't impact gameplay much. Besides, you only see your character's face if you're KIA, and that too if you are looking at it carefully. So I'm good with any soldier, as long as it's male, for obvious reasons. Once you're done, click on Accept Soldier and then select Single Player Game. In Single Player Game, you'll see multiple campaigns to choose from. Each campaign has one mission to start with, and you can select any campaign you like. However, you'll typically need to complete the first mission in each campaign to unlock additional missions in that campaign. I'll go with the Peru Campaign, which is selected by default. Here, I see Insurrection as the only mission currently available, which is generally considered the first mission in the game. Now I'll go ahead and click Accept Mission, or simply double-click the mission. Some players prefer to read through the mission briefing, but I usually skip it and check the objective while playing. You also have the option to change gear by clicking Change Gear to browse through available primary and secondary weapons, along with a sidearm. Typically, I stick with the default loadout, as it's often best suited to the mission's objectives. However, if you're confident in selecting your own weapons, feel free to experiment. Some players gain insights on the ideal gear by reading the mission briefing, so you can try that if you like. Personally, I've preferred a quiet, stealthy approach ever since I played the 2002 stealth video game Hitman 2: Silent Assassin, which we'll be covering in an upcoming video. Ideally, I'd go for a silent sniper if one is available, but for now, I'll stick with the default gear to keep the experience closer to the original gameplay. We'll explore more options in a future video. For now, I'll accept the current gear and start the mission. You are good if you are playing on a desktop computer with a default layout keyword that has arrow key and a dedicated numpad on the right. However, I'm using a laptop where the arrow keys are in the lower right corner of the keyboard. This setup feels a bit unbalanced, especially since the arrow keys are positioned on the far right side of the screen. On a desktop keyboard, you can center the arrow keys to your screen, which makes gameplay more comfortable. To address this, I'll change my movement controls from the arrow keys to WASD. Since I realized this after starting the mission, I'll quickly quit the game to adjust the controls. Here's how. Press Escape, then press Y to confirm and quit. Ignore the mission debriefing and click Continue. From there, click back to reach the main menu. Once you're in the main menu, go to Settings. You'll initially see General Settings, so use the right arrow to cycle through until you reach Keyboard Remap. Here, change the movement controls from the arrow keys to WASD. After that, click Accept Settings to save the changes, and you're ready to start the game with the updated controls. Much better now. My controls feel centered and balanced, making it a lot easier to navigate. Everything was going smoothly until I accidentally pressed the V key, which changed the resolution from 640 by 480 to 800 by 600, which is actually the highest resolution the game offers, and it's a nice upgrade, especially considering my display resolution is 1920 by 1200. However, as I continued playing, I accidentally pressed V again, and this time the resolution dropped to the lowest setting of 400 by 300, making everything look pixelated, almost like playing Minecraft or Lego blocks. I tried cycling the resolution back up to 800 by 600, but it quickly became clear that the best option is to remove this key binding to prevent accidental changes. I'll go into the settings and disable or unmap the V key for resolution adjustments so we can keep the graphics stable while playing. To do that, click Delete key and then select Video Resolution. Once done, click Accept Settings to save the changes and start the game once again. Remember how I mentioned a stealth approach inspired by Hitman 2: Silent Assassin? That strategy actually works well here too. Staying quiet isn't easy, it's a real challenge. When I go stealth, I keep it silent by holstering the suppressed high-standard .22 pistol, ready in case anyone gets suspicious. When I'm close enough and sure there won't be any alarms, I switch to the combat knife and take out enemies quietly one by one. But, as I mentioned earlier, I won't be using stealth in this video. I want to experience the game in the way it was intended, using the full gameplay style. To play in stealth mode though, you have to make sure no enemy spots you. If even one soldier fires, it alerts all nearby enemies, putting them into a combat-ready stance. While playing, I also discovered that you can't restart the mission unless you die. You can quit, but there's no restart option. If I'm mistaken and there's another way to restart, please feel free to leave a comment with tips. My workaround has been to use a frag grenade on myself, which lets me restart the mission. This time around, I'm sticking to the original gameplay style. However, I'm having a personal challenge. I'll make sure none of my squad mates are killed. We have Alpha and Charlie teams 1 and 2, and I'll be taking most of the kills to keep the enemies away from them. Let's dive in and get the most out of this mission.
King 6. Bravo, search the base. Alpha and Charlie teams provide overwatch.